Hello, it is me, Darcy, and him, Kris. Welcome to the Unnamed Podcast, where we sit here for roughly an hour and talk rubbish. We're getting started a little bit late today because I had to show Kris some stuff so that we can talk about it later.
Yes.
But welcome. It is nighttime, as often.
As always.
I'm still wearing a hat.
Yes. It's not going to change anytime soon.
Probably not. Because I've just been, as I said, working on my transient bum look.
Mm-hmm.
What was we talking about? What? How does this start?
Channel news.
Channel news. Channel news is this. Videos have come out.
Yes.
I
am not dead.
He's not dead yet, but we have the rusty hammer. If you're wondering what that is in common to, that would be the latest video to come out, which is a kind of new yet kind of old format for the channel, where it's just me. It's just me.
Yeah.
I say new and old at the same time because if you go back to some of our first videos, it is just me. There's a few Fall Guys in there that are just me.
Yeah.
Yet we kind of worked away from that. And because at the time, being new to this whole YouTubing thing, I didn't really have a way of doing it well. And now I feel a lot more comfortable coming out and just sitting here solo, chatting rubbish, and playing the game. So check that out. That is me playing Zelda Breath of the Wild, a game that I hold no secrets about. I'm not the world's biggest fan of. In fact, I believe I call it a 5 out of 10 game in the video.
I believe so, yes.
And that, as I say, in that video, all disappointment. The 5 comes out of a place of disappointment. So there might be some more videos like that coming out in the future. What came out on Monday?
Phasmo?
I'm pretty sure it was the final Phasmo. I finished up the egg hunting saga. Did we become professional eggmen? No.
I did off screen, but
We're better at it by the end of it. We're much better. We even managed to get the last ghost right as well.
oh shit, that's right, we did too.
But my favourite thing about that episode is the thumbnail, where it's you looking at the burning crucifix and it's just like a little cartoon, so I was like, get the fuck out.
Pretty much.
Because that's very much how we played that one. So in other channel news,
Yes.
so last week we talked about all the recording we've done.
Mm.
We've done massive amounts of recording. I just have to edit it. We recorded the Fall Guys.
Yes.
Kris playing Fall Guys.
Not good at it.
He's not good at it.
No.
But there is...
Not hiding that.
When that video comes out, there will be a comparison between the two of our Fall Guy abilities.
Yes. Yes, there will be.
On the same day, so look forward to that. Yeah, I think that's about all on the channel news. Other than the fact that I'm thinking of expanding the channel a little bit.
Okay.
So in the next couple of weeks, I intend to look at setting up the Patreon page. There won't be anything really to it yet, like not even a paid Patreon shit. Just getting the wheels rolling on that. That's some of the stuff I want to work on. And then figuring out what we're gonna do with the Patreon side of things.
Yeah.
Basically, where we're at now, I think the Patreon side, once we do get it up and running and do start putting it in, is going to be more like short form videos, like kind of sitting, us discussing things, talking about, just like almost like YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
Kind of things, but like more direct connection between myself and you and the members of Patreon.
Yeah.
But as I said, that's off in the future. And also things like polls and like people's suggestions for games that they want us to play, because that way, if we go on into the future, the people who actually want to have a say, there will be an area where they can have a say.
Yeah.
Instead of just YouTubing.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at maybe putting the podcast onto something like, I can't remember what it's called, Spotify.
Yeah.
So that's where we're moving to at the moment. Like, that's what I'm looking at doing. Other channel news is we've kind of hit a stall out period. We're still getting a lot of views on some of our videos, but we've kind of stalled out on subscribers. So, we'll just keep powering along, and hopefully that'll pick up again.
Hopefully,
because we had a pretty good run for a while where every day was pretty much a new subscriber, and so hopefully we'll be able to pick up that trend again.
Yes, that would be nice.
I don't really think there's anything else to add. Looking at the future of the channel, really, and doing a lot of like getting the bones pretty much put in for the expansion side. So that's kind of where we are. And as I said, I'm kind of I'm in my wind down period for my job, because school holidays are fast approaching.
Oh, that's
so I'll have 2 weeks where I have like fuck all work to do for that side of things, which is great because it means I have more time to do the channel. So that's when I'll be looking at doing the expansion, and looking into those things. So stay tuned for that, and we'll let you know how it goes. Also the other thing with the Patreon is that there are videos we want to do that can't go on YouTube.
Yes.
Just because it's too much of a clusterfuck to even attempt that kind of stuff.
True.
And with other ones that I'm thinking of for the Patreon side, is there a lot of work to do.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like, I feel like if we pretty much live stuff. I'm thinking moving a lot of the live stuff to Patreon at the moment, and then like kind of bringing it back later. Like you can come back to YouTube once we've kind of settled there and kind of built up there. But all of that is ideas for the future, yet to be implemented. And as I said with the Patreon, once I've actually set up the Patreon side, there's pretty much not going to be a lot going on there, and we're not going to have like any actual patrons until we're comfortable where we are moving forwards. Anything you want to add, sir, while I drink out of this?
As for the channel news, nothing I think I could really think of. Pretty much went over.
Yeah, everything, even the hammer.
Everything. Even when I was the hammer, the fact that he was right, I didn't die, and he was correct. I was asleep.
And a rusty hammer is the most humane way. And the reason it's rusty is because I don't want to mess up a new hammer. That would just be disastrous. Where are we at? I can't see. So that pretty much takes care of all of that. So this week, putting my hat back on. This week, obviously, so when I say this week, between our last podcast filmed and the new podcast and this one, the one here right now where we are, there's been some big announcements in the gaming world.
Yes.
Lots of things seen. For once, Kris has actually watched them all. Highly ironically, considering that he is the PlayStation stan of the two of us. Right. He hasn't seen the PlayStation one. I have. And he's watched the Xbox and the kind of just Summer Games Fest, but he did not watch the PlayStation one. No. And he is the PlayStation man. He's our man on the ground with PlayStation. He even has a PlayStation 5.
I do.
Because he wants to be crushed by it one day.
Eventually. Hey, look, maybe he won't have to use the hammer.
So, So we are going to talk about that, but before we do, I want to kind of discuss something that I've noticed a lot over like the past couple of months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On people who do gaming stuff on YouTube, pretty much. A lot of them talk about Halo and kind of its fall from grace, and how Infinite could have been. I may have seen I may have just seen some police lights go by. That's good. Yeah. So anyway, Halo's fall from grace and how Infinite wasn't the game that was going to save it, which and all of the stuff that's wrong with Infinite, and I kind of highly disagree with them.
Okay.
Personally, I love Infinite.
Yeah.
I like its multiplayer a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way it does season passes because
that's pretty good.
You don't really care about them. And for anyone who sits there and goes like, oh, the Halo season pass doesn't give you enough stuff that you want, I would just hold up the whole season pass concept and say,
yeah,
it's all tat. It's rubbish crap that you don't want. Yeah. It's stuff that you're paying for once because you would never actually buy it.
Yeah.
Unless it was wrapped in with this thing where it's like, hey, there's one thing in there you want.
Yeah.
90% of it is like you sitting there. I remember the very first season passes that I was playing back in Modern Warfare 2019.
Yeah.
2018. The remake.
Yeah.
And, you're like, I really want this one thing that's level 90. And so you're sitting there going through all the levels and just going, yay, I got another charm. Yay, I got another loading screen. Yay, I got
sticker.
this. Yay, I got that.
Yeah.
And you don't give a shit. So for anyone to say like, oh no, Halo Infinite didn't do its season pass very well. And it's like, that's because there's no such thing as a well done season pass.
No, not really.
Show me one. Like most games I play have season passes these days, and they're all rubbish because it's a way to get you to pay $14 to give you a bunch of shit you wouldn't pay a cent for.
Yeah. So
that you can get the one thing that you would actually spend, a little bit of cash on. Probably about $5 if you could just buy it. And then a bunch of stuff you don't want. But
the only thing of the platform I haven't noticed any on is the Switch. Oh, I suppose Fortnite's on there and all that.
Yeah. No. Pretty much any game as a service now has a battle season pass, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're all rubbish. So to pull out one game and say like, oh, it's not doing this very well, I'm just like, I don't think you understand the concept of these season battle pass things. They're just shit.
Yeah.
All of them. Like, no one is ever happy when it's like, congratulations, and let's use COD as an example. You unlocked a loading screen. Oh, sweet. I played 2 hours of COD to get a loading screen.
It's not worth it.
That I'll see for about 3 seconds. Cool. So,
the main reason we say it's not worth it is because, as we've probably stated before, it's not a top tier game.
No, and I spent $40 on the last season pass.
Yeah, I don't know why you did
I spent $40 to get 4 things that I actually wanted.
Jesus Christ.
Which is not too bad. It kind of works. Actually, 6 things, so less than $10 a thing I wanted.
That's true, yeah. That's still a lot.
Yes, it is. It's ridiculous. Large amounts of money.
Well, it's annoying.
But, so, like, if that's your reason for, like, dissing Halo Infinite, I think you need to look at yourself. Like, really look at yourself and be like, yeah, okay. Other than that, I think the multiplayer is super fun. Have you played any of the multiplayer? I know I have. Have you?
No.
Okay, well, it just feels like Halo. And let me tell you, when I was playing Halo 3, there weren't battle passes. There weren't season passes. There weren't any of that shit. You just played because it was fun.
Well, yes.
And Halo Infinite, for me, has a lot of that. I play because it's fun. I don't play because it's like, oh, this will unlock my season pass. It's like, no, I don't give a fuck. I'm just playing because it's fun. I want to play several hours of Halo, so I play several hours.
Oh.
And it's like, it's Halo. But that's not the only criticism, and a lot of the other criticism is actually fair criticism. So, to go into Infinite Story mode, the story itself kind of feels prologue-y, I guess is my own thing. I don't mind the story. I think it's kind of cool, but it doesn't feel long enough or like enough is actually happening to be a full story campaign. It kind of feels like it's the prologue, like the first 5 missions, and then you're like, okay, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. So there's that. Yes. As for the open world segment, I didn't mind it. It wasn't full of fetch quests, which is something that open worlds often fall into.
True.
So that was good. I like that. I like the way, that you, when you go and do missions, you actually feel like you're achieving something.
Yeah. And
I like the fact that, when you're running around, you can just run into random groups of enemies and feel like a badass.
Solid.
What I really liked about it was the fact that as, like, in the story, it's kind of like the lowest point that you could be at after what happened.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you running around and you're capturing these bases and finding survivors and all this kind of stuff. And, as that happens, you see more and more of these people you've saved around these bases that you've freed. And so you kind of feel there's a bit of a change there, and you can, jump in and get a bunch of Marines to come with you on vehicles and stuff. I really like that. I think it fits really well into the Master Chief's kind of story. Like, he is a lone badass, and you think of the actual story from the first 3 Halo games.
Yeah.
Master Chief's kind of doing it in solo.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of his whole thing. I really like the character balances in Halo Infinite. The pilot, the chief, and the weapon have a really awesome kind of play off each other.
Yeah.
Where you've got, like, Chief, he is just the stoic soldier. We do the job. The pilot, he's your classic human. I just want to go home. Everything's getting crazy. I don't want to be here, but steps up. And the weapon, well, she is just this optimistic breath of fresh air who is like the perfect counter. The weapon is his new AI, because you haven't played.
No, I haven't.
But the weapon is Chief's new AI.
Okay. Alright.
Called that because it was like the weapon to use against Cortana, which actually brings us into probably one of the biggest issues I have with the game. But yeah, the characters, like the 3 main characters, are those 3.
Mm-hmm.
Really good balance between the 3 of them. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Like, I really liked the play off of them. It was so much better than Halo 5, where it was like you were running around with other Spartans and the character interactions were just kind of shit.
Okay.
So the characters in the story, I think, are really good, but are lacking. So there's really only 3 main characters.
Yeah.
We were introduced to a whole host of other characters.
Yeah. Who
were just not even mentioned unless you go and find like all the little hidden things to read about them. So that's a part where I feel the story falls down. The other part where the story falls down, and this is no fault of Infinite, this is the fault of the people who are making these games these days.
Yeah.
Is that the story isn't self-contained. It's what I call Disney storytelling. What Disney has made massive recently, which is like, oh, you want to know the story for this one piece of entertainment you're consuming? I'll go read this comic, watch this TV series, check out this video game. Yeah, we're dropping stuff in video games that you may or may not play. And my whole kind of take on that is stop it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to have to go and track down the story in several different things so I can understand what's going on in this. Or how something that shouldn't be there is there because, oh, well, it was explained in this piece of media over here that...
Yeah.
No, if you're going to have stuff in a story, it needs to be in that story. And this is the sin that Halo Infinite takes. because it has stuff coming from another game. Not a bad thing if it is a sequel. However, the other game is Halo Wars 2.
Okay.
That is a sin. Halo Wars is not a mainline Halo game.
No.
It is a spin-off.
Yes.
Yes, it still takes place in that world and has the characters, but Halo is a first-person shooter.
Yes.
That has always had a story and has always been quite, it's always been story-based.
Yeah.
To take some of that story and put it in a real-time strategy game where not everyone who plays Halo is interested in real-time strategy games, that's a sin. Because now to go and find it, they have to either play a game they may not be interested in, go on YouTube and find where someone's put the story together for them, and it's like, just don't do that.
No.
You want to tell a story in a game, put the story in that game.
Yeah.
If it's a continuation of another story, which Halo Infinite is, it's a continuation of Halo 4 and Halo 5,
yes,
have it continue on. Don't have a giant gap that only makes sense if you've played this other game that isn't really part of this series because it's not even the same genre, and then come back to a mainline game where the story's just now jumped and nothing makes sense. Like, that was probably the biggest disappointment from Halo 5 to Halo Infinite, is that Halo 5 ends in a specific way.
Yes.
Halo Infinite does not pick up that storyline.
No.
It starts somewhere completely different, and I'm just like, what? And it's like, oh yeah, no, it was explained in Halo Wars expansion. Halo Wars 2 expansion explained what happened, and I'm just like, that's not okay.
It's even worse that it's in the expansion.
That's not okay. I understand you want to sell games, and you're like, yeah, if we hide things in for the main story in this, but seriously, the Disney way of telling a story where you've got to track down all of this extra information from other sources so that they can sell these other sources to you, fucking sucks. I don't want to read a book about something just so I can understand how this ended up here. That's ridiculous. I want it in my story. What's going on, not somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's probably the biggest downfall of Halo Infinite. That, and there is one other side which I'm kind of like, it never really addresses in the story, which is why I say it feels prologue-ish, because it's kind of like the whole thing is you start, the Infinity is destroyed, and Master Chief is pretty much thrown out into space and then found by the pilot, whose name I can't remember, but he does say it, so I just call him the pilot. Or if you were one of the fans before Halo came out, you might know him as Dustin Echoes. That's a Halo joke.
Okay.
Or Brohammer. Also a Halo joke.
Fair.
But, like, so where you start off is literally everything's worse. As far as you are aware, there are the only survivors from the Infinity, this massive human ship that had hundreds of Spartans on board, thousands of humans, and all of this kind of stuff, are just the two of you, and you have one Pelican. And then as you kind of go through the game, you're finding Marines, you're re-establishing this. But as I said, you don't run into any of the mainline characters. Like, you don't run into any of the Spartans from the previous games. You don't run into any of, you don't run into Captain Lasky, who is the captain of the Infinity. And, in one of the recordings or, little pieces of information, you're like, he's supposed to be leading, the resistance on this installation you're on.
Okay.
And so it kind of feels like, as you're gaining, you feel like you should be, these people should be like, oh shit, the Chief's back, yeah, and you feel like you should be building this actual fight back to defeat the Banished on this installation. Get back into the fight, and it doesn't really go that way. It kind of introduces a whole different kind of storyline. You're like, well, hang on. Shouldn't we be trying to just get all the survivors of the Infinity together? Shouldn't that be the storyline for Halo Infinite?
You'd think so.
Getting everyone, then having everyone being happy that the Chief is back, because the last they saw, he was thrown into space and dead, and being okay, now we actually can fight back. and then the next game having that fight back, and then introducing this big problematic alien race that's frozen by the last guy. It's weird, but they pretty much blew that one, and I went, okay, that's fine, but what about, where are the surviving Spartans? Where is this? Where is that? You know, where is Lasky? I was like, where are these elements? Yeah, so as I said, like, I feel that they kind of rushed a lot of things and didn't have a long enough story, so it kind of feels like a prologue to this bigger story that they then never go into. And like, as I said, the last thing anyone knew about the Chief before he's found by the pilot is that he was thrown into space.
Okay.
And assumed dead. Like, literally everyone just assumed that he was gone. Right?
Yeah.
So you would think if he was coming back and rescuing people, like, the highest ranking human there and the other Spartans would, like, rally around him. Especially considering, like, if you've played any of the Halo games, you know the thing that the Master Chief is known for is literally fucking up everyone single-handedly.
Right.
And if you want to survive, that's the guy you want to be behind.
Right.
And he's big, and he's green, and he's made of titanium, so there's a lot to hide behind.
True.
The other thing I really hate that Infinite's kind of going down the lines of is story edition in multiplayer. And that doesn't work, ever.
No.
So it's like every season they have like a little cinematic thing where it's like, hey, on the ring, what other Spartans are doing? And it's like, because it shows you the other Spartans. So there was like the Wolfpack, Lone Wolves, I can't remember what it was called. Lone Wolves. I want to say Lone Wolves. And it was like, oh, these Spartans are fighting the Banished. Oh, this is happening. Oh, now we're training on the ring. And it's like, that's fine, but multiplayer doesn't fit into telling a story. Because multiplayer is just a bunch of Spartans running around shooting each other, having fun. Doesn't fit into the story of Halo. So don't try and continue your story through multiplayer. It doesn't work. It never works. Name one game that has a story based on multiplayer that actually works. If you say Overwatch, I'll come in and I'll slap you personally.
We knew I wasn't going to say it.
Because Overwatch doesn't tell a story. There are just quips between characters that kind of hint to backstory.
Yeah.
There is no story in Overwatch. Yet. There is implied story that is then filled out in animations that are separate from the game.
Yeah.
But the actual game itself, the multiplayer game, contains no story.
Yeah.
And no game who's based on multiplayer should, and if you need an example of that, go back and play the story mode from Titanfall, the original one. The one where you did play a story through multiplayer, unless you were kicked from the game for no reason, or, and this was brilliant, because this is why no one should do it, you'd swap teams. And so suddenly, the story that was being told is no longer your story, and so the story would just swap halfway through. So mission 3 of the story, you've just played the first 2 on one side, mission 3 starts, you get the cutscene for mission 3 for the other guys, so you have no idea what they were doing before, or what your team that you actually know the story for is doing now. You're just kind of sitting there going, what? What the fuck's going on? And, oh no, that's how the story works in multiplayer. Multiplayer has no story. You cannot put a story in your multiplayer. Again, another example. Warzone. Warzone was a continuation of the story for COD, except it wasn't. It was rubbish. Don't do it. No one wants story continuation in the multiplayer modes. Let them just be multiplayer modes. Have your story in a campaign mode.
Yes.
Where you are playing a story. And tell your story there, so that the people who are interested in the story can get it, and the people that just want to play multiplayer don't have to give a fuck about story shit.
Yeah.
It's just, I just find that so simple, and yet everyone keeps trying to do it. Everyone keeps trying to shove these stories into multiplayer games, in multiplayer modes, and you're just like, stop it. It doesn't work. The people here don't care about this.
Most of them just there.
And the ones that do care about this story that you're trying to tell they're playing the story mode and are missing out on all of this.
Yes. Because they don't want to have to go through. Like, there's certain games that I refuse to play PvP in. Because it fucking sucks.
Warzone.
It does. Yeah.
What other games?
Well, Destiny was one of them. When I actually played it properly.
Did Destiny have story attached to the PvP?
No, well, to a degree. Only because you had to go to talk to one specific person. And to advance his story, you have to do PvP.
Right.
And then there's... the other stuff wasn't really full story.
Yeah. But
there was stuff that happened at certain times that... it was real weird.
Look, as I said, it's why we have games that have a story mode and a multiplayer mode, and they're not just together as one mode. Because when they're together as one mode, no one is happy. When they're separate, the people who want story don't have to interact with the multiplayer, which they might detest. I like the new CODs. Their story's pretty fun. I'm not a big fan of DMZ. And its multiplayer is okay. It's fine. It's just not great.
Yeah.
I play it. It's fast paced.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. There's nothing inherently wrong about it. It's just not the greatest thing. So yeah, don't put your story and multiplayer together. Don't put parts of the story in multiplayer. That's why you have a story mode. Put your story there. And if you add more parts to the story, put them there. Don't put them over here and be like, oh yeah, when you're playing multiplayer, you'll get little snippets of what's going on with the story. No one wants that. We want to go to the story to find the story. We want to go to multiplayer Multiplayer just doesn't need to be connected because it doesn't make sense when it is.
That's pretty much it. Especially
like COD. Oh yeah, we're putting a story in. There's 50 fucking ghosts running around. He's one character. But he's a very popular skin, so lots of people wear him. It doesn't make sense. Because then you see Ghost die, and then you die as Ghost, and then you're back as Ghost, and there's 3 other ghosts running around. It's like, oh, I'm glad this is separate from the story. Otherwise, this one badass character who no one knows the face of is just everywhere. And immortal.
Yes.
And a clone.
Definitely a clone.
As I said, just keep them separate because that's better. It also means that as a consumer, you get to go in and choose what part you want when you want it.
Yes.
And you don't end up stuck in something where it's like, hey, you want to find out the part of this story for the game that you really like the story of? Gotta be good at this weird PvP game. Yeah, you gotta win a PvP game to get this story piece. And it's like, what? No.
It's a horrible idea.
Exactly. It's shit. Anyway. Big takeaway from there. Yeah. Infinite has its problems. Multiplayer is still fun. Stop telling stories in multiplayer. And the last piece, if you're going to tell a story, put it all in one place, in one format, so I don't have to go to 20 different things.
It's pretty simple.
Don't watch the Halo TV show. It's not good. That's got nothing to do with Infinite. It's just not good. Don't watch it. It's not worth your time.
Yeah, no, I haven't even
spend your time doing something good. It's just. As someone who's played Limited Halo, what's the one thing you know about Master Chief?
He's big. He's green.
He's big and he's green. You know what they did in the TV show? Episode 1, he took off his helmet.
What the fuck?
Yeah. That's a legendary ending kind of move there. And you put out episode 1.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
And then showed his face. You know, when we saw his face, Halo 4. And you only get to see his eyeballs. Just this part of it. You go, holy crap, Master Chief has eyebrows.
Oh my god, I didn't think that would...
Added to the list of things we know about him. He's big, green, hard as rock, has eyebrows. No, but yeah, so don't watch the Halo TV show. It's bad.
Fair enough.
It's really bad.
So you were going to say something like they didn't even make him green?
I actually think he's black, but that's fine because at one point in his history, he wasn't wearing his green armor.
Okay.
He wasn't wearing armor at all. He just had like a black spacesuit.
Okay. Fair.
But that was when they were kids.
Yes.
He's big and green. That's his big thing.
Yes.
He's big and green. He's just a big green guy. Okay, that's what we know about Master Chief, and that's what we love about him. But yeah. No, as I said, like I really enjoyed like the Master Chief and the weapon and the pilot kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like the pilot he's just this breath of fresh air. Because he's just a guy. Like he's not even really a pilot. He's just like a mechanic or something. He was just there doing like maintenance. He was a contractor, I believe, is what he called it. Like he was a contractor on the ship, like doing maintenance when it was attacked. So he just jumped in a Pelican to like for somewhere safe and got like thrown out into space.
Okay.
Like he knew what he was doing, but like that's how he ended up in that situation. And so like he's not a soldier. And he's like sitting there with the Master Chief just being like, I want to go home. And the Master Chief's like, we keep fighting. And he's like this tiny little guy next to him. And he's just like, you don't get it. And he's like, he goes off at the Chief so many times. The Chief just kind of looks at him and is like, so we keep fighting. And it's just like, and as I said, it's one of like, there are beautiful moments in Infinite between these characters and the Chief. And the reason that they're so beautiful is because I love Halo. I know the Chief's backstory. He doesn't really know how to function as a human because he did not grow up in that situation. He grew up as a soldier. Yes. He only knows how to be a soldier. So, like, this guy's, like, going up at him and stuff, and he's just like, let's finish the fight. And he's just like, no, I just want to go home. Look at all these ships. We can go home. We have the way to go home. And she's like, agreed. Let's kill this guy. And he's like, no! And then you've got the other side, which is the weapon, which is this new AI, and was built for one reason, and there's a whole kind of side thing going on between her and the Chief, but she's just this kind of optimistic ray of light in some very bleak situations.
Okay.
Like, you'll be doing something and she'll be like, oh, look, and you're just like, I'm in the middle of a firefight. Shut up. But yeah, as I said, I really enjoyed those three characters and how they play together because, like, I know when Halo 5 came out, everyone's been like, oh, it's about time we got someone who wasn't the Master Chief because he's just this bland kind of soldier guy. And it's like, yeah, because that's who he is in the story.
Yeah. It
would be like someone complaining about Doom Guy. Oh yeah, all he ever does is fucking rip and tear. What does he do when he's not ripping and tearing?
Ripping and tearing.
He only rips and tears. That's what he does. He is the Doomslayer. He is the Master Chief. He only soldiers.
It's pretty straightforward.
So like everyone was like when Guardians was coming out, oh, it'd be good to get a character with more depth. And it's like, no, because the depth comes from the people around him. It always has. The depth in Halo is the people around him. The Master Chief is just this soldier. He just soldiers, and he's good at it.
Yes.
And everyone around him. It's like the classic scene from Halo 2, when Johnson drops you off a tank, and Cortana goes, he never gets me anything, in reference to the Chief, and Johnson just puts his cigar in his mouth and goes, I know what the lady's like. And it's like, that is a scene full of charm, badassery, and awesomeness, and the Master Chief says nothing, because that's not who he is. His character is big and green. That's literally his character.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I'm surprised they didn't just call him Big Green.
No, that's reserved for Nail.
Wait, is Nail Big Green?
Nail is Big Green.
He's Big Green. But yeah, oh fuck. Like, yeah, as I said, it was really good to go back and kind of like have this thing where it's like, we're not trying to make the Master Chief this deep and, like, you know, massively sensitive character. We're just like, he's a soldier. That's what he does. It's everyone around him who has who's normal humans. And I said, and one of those scenes where the guy's just like, "We can go home now," and Chief's just like, "No." He's like, "Oh,
it's not happening."
And then you get like I can't remember exactly because it was so long ago that I played. Like I played the campaign when it first came out and finished it pretty quickly because like that was all I was concerned about. New Halo. But there's one scene I can think of is just like the Master Chief being like, "Okay, catch me," and then he jumps. And then later, like, as he's falling through the air doing whatever he's doing, the other guy's got to like come in and try and catch him in the back of the ship he's flying.
Oh, God.
He's just like, "What are you doing? Why do you keep doing this stuff?" And he's like, "Because it's our job." And he's like, "No, I just want to go home. I've been here for so long." And he's like, "There's still people to kill." It's like, God, no. But yeah, no, as I like, definitely worth a play if you want to play some Halo. Infinite is, don't play 5. 5 is crap compared to Infinite, but it's the strongest Halo's been for a while.
I imagine we're going to go through it at some point.
Probably. It is its only single player campaign, so probably you playing it. Like everything up to that point is multiplayer.
Yes.
But I will say this. There is only 2 games during the whole Halo story that actually have multiplayer make sense. Other than... only 3. Let's call it 3. No, 2. I'm going back to 2.
Okay.
I was going to say ODST, but then I was like, no, ODST, they literally... It's a 4-man... it's a 5-man team, and they literally call you the rookie, so it doesn't make sense for there to be 2 the rookies.
Yeah.
Halo Reach, again, it does not make sense for there to be 2 Noble Sixes.
Yeah.
Okay, you two, we're giving you the same code. Noble 6. Can't I just be Noble 7? No, because it's a 6-man squad. But there are 7 of us. 6-man squad. Yeah, Halo 1, where there's 2 Master Chiefs just running around, that can sort of make sense, but it doesn't. Because the second Master Chief constantly disappears. There is another Spartan on board. Right. The Pillar of Autumn. Who is alive. Okay. And if they'd kind of done that, then it would make sense. But no, just 2 Master Chiefs that one of them disappears during the cutscenes. That doesn't make sense. Halo 2, 2 Arbiters and 2 Master Chiefs doesn't make sense.
No.
Halo 3, multiplayer makes perfect sense. Because it's Master Chief, Arbiter, Dave and Keith.
Yes.
Dave and Keith are the names that I have given to the 2 elites that join you.
Oh, okay.
And player 3 and 4.
Yes.
Because you just have the Master Chief.
Yes.
The Arbiter and 2 elites who also have the same shielding and health system as the others, and it makes perfect sense because it's like, yeah, elites are kind of like the Spartans of their people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them.
Yes.
So that makes sense. Halo 4 doesn't make sense. Halo 5 makes sense. Because you can have up to 4 players, and it's a 4-man squad, so each of you plays one of the people on the thing.
Yeah.
Does make the solo running it pretty shitty, because the AIs aren't that smart.
Oh. Damn.
Yes. And then, yeah, Halo Infinite, they just don't have multiplayer. And lots of people are like, "Oh, that sucks." And it's like, okay, yeah, it kind of does, but at the same time, kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what else doesn't have multiplayer? Most story games.
Yes. Because they wanted to focus on the story.
When was the last time you played multiplayer in COD story? World at War is the last time I can remember it.
I never played World at War.
World at War let you play players have 2 players in the story, which was hilarious because.
Wait, hang on. No, I did play that one. Never mind.
Hilarious because it's kind of like you play as this person, and then the other person is you just kind of like you look at them, and I'm pretty sure it's been so long since I played it, but I'm fairly sure they just have like a random soldier skin.
Yeah.
So it's like player 1 is the person, and you are the person who's just following them along.
Yes.
I came as well. Random American soldier or Russian soldier. Thank you for also joining us at this momentous occasion. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. So like people are like, oh, it doesn't. And it's like I know it's been like a staple for Halo to have multiplayer in the story campaign.
Yeah.
But I'm not overly upset that it's missing.
Fair.
It'd be cool if it was there, but it's not going to end the world it not being there.
No.
Anyway, I feel I've ranted about Halo enough.
Yes.
Yeah. We can go on to talking about the other thing.
Yes.
But before we do go on, I just want to say, remember, Master Chief is big, green, hard as a rock, and has eyebrows. Okay?
We have all the information we need.
That's it. What else do we need? Actually, we also know his name, but...
What's his name?
John.
Oh. Wait.
117.
No, I did know that. Never mind.
Yeah. So, as I stated earlier in this podcast, which was a while ago, I'll be frank. Me and Kris have watched the announcements.
Yes, we have.
So we started with Summer Games Fest, Summer Gamescom, Summer Games Fest. That's what it's called. I can't remember. It's all just YouTube videos to me. Yeah, so we watched that. Anything big there that you were excited for, Kris?
From the Summerfest.
Yeah, Summer Games Fest.
That was a few days ago.
That was a few days ago. Do you remember much from it?
No.
What about... Well, they showed Spider-Man 2 again.
I should say it's one of the things that I'm not going to remember off the top of my head, but you've mentioned it, I probably will.
What about... again, not the first time it was announced, but what about Mortal Kombat 1? What did you think of that? You're a Mortal Kombatian.
It does look interesting. It looks like they might be going a bit more, like adding a bit more story to it.
Yeah.
Or is it the other ones that they're quite small on the story?
I didn't mind 11's story. That's about all I played.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a Mortal Kombat player, but I have bought a few of them. Yeah. 11 being the last one I bought, and I was like,
the last one I bought was 10, and then Boone kept adding more and more combat packs. Yeah. Enough of the packs.
Oh, that's not going to end anytime soon.
I'm aware.
Then, yeah, no, I was actually really, I saw it, and it's one of those games where I'm like, I will never go out and buy the super expensive Ultra Deluxe Collector's Edition, because I really don't care enough about the game to do that.
I did that for 10, yeah.
Yeah, I know you did. You have the scorpion face.
No, the scorpion statue. Scorpion's face was the one before.
I don't remember. I like the game, I just don't care enough about it to actually go out. I will buy it the day it goes on sale. And not like the day that they sell it to, like the day one. I mean the day that the price drops. It's the day I'll be like, done. It's mine.
Yes.
What else did we see? So we saw Spider-Man 2, but that wasn't the first time we saw that. We saw that at the Sony one.
Well, you did. I didn't. But I'm trying to think. I'd seen a whole bunch of stuff popping up.
I'm going to quickly Google it and see. What I can say from Summer Games Fest that I personally, the first time I've been psyched up for an announced game in a long time, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh yes.
When that dropped right at the end, I was like, I haven't really seen anything that I'm super pumped about, and then I saw that and I was like, oh, yes, cheeky bastards. Although, and then they were like, PlayStation 5 exclusive, and I was like, okay, for now.
I'll have to wait and see.
It's only a matter of time until it comes out on PC once it's been released.
Oh yeah, cool.
The remake, Final Fantasy VII remake, is on PC now.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to rush out and buy a PS5 just so I can play this one game that I'm super looking forward to. Especially considering I haven't even started Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I have.
I haven't started, so I don't need the second game the second it comes out at this point in time. We'll see where that changes when it comes when it does drop.
Yes. But no, I have started the game. Haven't gone too far into it yet. Sort of lost my motivation for gaming for a while there.
Yeah.
So what have we got?
So then there was Alan Wake 2. As I said, I saw that at PlayStation as well, and I went, oh, I liked the original Alan Wake. I'm probably going to like this one.
What was that one again?
That's the dark one with the light flashlight.
Oh, yes. I think that is one of the ones I was looking at, but
yeah,
I haven't even played any of the other ones, so I don't remember it. Not that I don't remember it, so I don't know it.
I'm trying to think what else was announced. Really, there wasn't a lot from Summer Games Fest that I A, didn't know was coming out, or B, cared about. Okay. Oh, there was that submarine game that I liked the look of.
Oh, yeah, that one did look good. Yes.
That looked good. I can't remember what it was called.
No, that cannot. But that does look interesting.
Because literally, I have a name in my head, but I think that's coming from the Xbox One that I just showed Kris that also has a number. Yeah, so literally, as I was literally just saying before I cut myself off. What was I saying? Oh yeah, we literally just watched the Xbox One, and there's another water-based game that kind of looks cool. Was there anything else from some Game Fest that you were excited for? Spider-Man 2? Are you a Spider-Man 2 boy?
I will get it.
I can't say I'm all that excited for it because I haven't played Miles Morales.
I have it. I still haven't played Miles Morales, actually. Thank you for reminding me. That is something I've got to play.
And
I think I've got it.
I'm kind of excited for it, but I'm also kind of not excited for it because I'm just kind of like... I still don't like the fact that they changed Peter Parker, and I'm very set in my ways, okay? Prince of Persia, that was okay looking.
Yeah.
Fortnite, Kris, I know you're super stoked about Fortnite. Yeah, so games that I forgot because I had no interest in: Fortnite and Sonic. Just honestly, not a great deal there. Like Dragon Gaiden. I do remember seeing that.
I'd have to play more.
I like the Yakuza series, and that's what Like a Dragon is. So,
yeah.
Hilariously funny. Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, Summer Games Fest, Like a Dragon, Infinite Money, Xbox. Both games that I am looking forward to. I am only technically up to Yakuza 0 in the game, so only 8 or so to finish before I can play either of those two.
Oh, yes.
Star Trek Infinite, didn't care about that. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, Kris. That was the zombie one.
Oh, yes.
What did you think of that?
I think we were saying that one seemed like it would have some potential if they did it right.
If it's done right, could be.
So I think that's very much a wait until it comes out and I see a bit more gameplay in it. Then I'll make my decision.
Fair enough. I actually feel the same way. It could be quite fun. It could be not because I want to compare it, but because it's really the only thing that you can do is compare it to Left 4 Dead. It could be the successor that everyone has been waiting for. That Back 4 Blood apparently wasn't. I didn't play enough Back 4 Blood to truly get into what that game was about.
Never really got into it.
From what I heard, most people were disappointed by it. Yeah. Sandland, Kris. Sandland.
Oh,
new game from Akira Toriyama.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's not I'm going to jump out and go and buy it. But...
No, that's another one that goes on my list, which is like, I'll keep my eyes on it, and I will probably buy it on sale.
I can.
Especially considering that we're looking at all of these games. These games are that $100 price tag.
Oh, yeah.
That all new games are now at. Yeah. Which kind of sucks because I liked it when my brand new games were $60.
And remember when that was expensive?
Okay, so I liked it when brand new games were $60, and for $120 you could get the best edition, or for $140 it was like, do you want the Ultra Super Ultimate Edition? Also, this one has a black case, and you're like, yes, I do.
Thank you.
That's $140, and now it's like, oh, do you want the Standard Edition? $120. Give me $120. Mm-hmm. I'll drop it down to $109, and you're just like, well, how much is the Super Ultimate Edition that also has a black case? You can't afford that, son. And you're just like, no, I can't.
It's like there was an edition with Darksiders 3.
That came with no game. That was common.
$700.
Yep.
No, thank you.
Or some PVC vinyl.
Yep. I mean, if it was a lot cheaper, then I would have thought about it, because I was looking at the war and the death statue. Didn't really care about the other one, but
Fury.
I still haven't finished that game.
No, I haven't even started that game.
I couldn't fully.
I also haven't started Genesis, but I want to because I really like the Darksiders series.
Yeah, so do I. But that's a game that I just couldn't. I got behind for a while and then just lost interest in it because it didn't keep me going, whereas the other two did.
Fair enough. But yeah, so the price point of these games is becoming a thing where it was like before you wouldn't even really consider it. You wouldn't if it was a game you really wanted. I would splash out and pretty much buy the $140 edition, like the super top end, absolute deluxe, comes with everything and a kitchen sink. And if it was a game I was sort of interested in, I'd just buy the standard $60 edition.
Yeah.
But now that like the standard edition is $100 plus, I'm just kind of like.
Now you're sort of looking at it's like it's $100 plus, and then you go the deluxe edition, it's an extra $20.
Yeah. The other problem I have is that I don't like splashing. Like, say what you will about Nintendo, I will buy their $80 games the day they come out because one, it's $80 compared to other games that are now $100, and two, I'm almost guaranteed with a Nintendo mainline that it's going to be a complete game.
Yes.
I'm not splashing out over $110 for a game that's probably a buggy mess.
Yes.
Power World. Honestly, I like the look of it. It could be a Pokemon game that I love.
Yeah.
I've got here on my little list Pokemon. Power World is like Pokemon but with guns. What else could you want? You know,
good fun.
It's what Pokemon's been missing. Every time that fucking Weedle gets you as you're walking through the thing, just
shooting the fucking face.
Ain't dealing with that no more. Lord of the Rings Return to Moria.
Possibly.
Honestly,
again, gonna wait.
Not really a lot to say there.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. That was the mobile phone one.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, I
don't give a fuck about that. What about Banishers Ghosts of New Eden? That was the one where one of the characters is a ghost and the other one is the guy. The guy and the ghost. Honestly, I like the look of it. Wait to see more. But it's on my radar.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3, absolutely fine. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that goes.
Yeah.
I haven't played any of the Baldur's Gate games, but I like them. I like their concept. I like what they are.
Twisted Metal.
That is a movie or a TV show.
Okay.
So I really hate that actually. Like that is like one of the things where Sony was like, yeah, you see, we're making the games movies now, and I'm like, oh, I fucking hate you. Because remember earlier in this podcast where I said keep your stories in one thing. This is like asking for the story to go and split into multiple different formats.
You know, there is one other game that did that too.
Quantum Break.
Final Fantasy 15.
Mm-hmm.
It does. You find out what happens in the city if you watch the movie.
If you watch Kingsglaive.
Yes, which the edition that I bought for Final Fantasy 15.
Where did I watch that? I watched that movie. I just can't remember now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, what about this?
Yeah.
Marvel Snap. That was that one where the Asian guy was standing there.
That was pretty funny.
Very funny ad. Very questionable, whatever it was. Then there was the new trailer for season 4 of Call of Duty. Getting a new playground, Kris. If you buy into the next battle pass,
we'll wait and see.
Will we? Probably, because they showed off a ghost skin that looks like the one in the campaign, which is the one I've been after, wearing sunglasses. So I'm probably in. Yeah. It'll be level 100.
Oh yes, of course it will.
Because they're gonna bring me in. Path of the Exile 2, we saw that. Kris isn't really concerned with Path of the Exile. A Street Fighter 6 crossover. I remember that one. It was Robot Ryu.
Oh yeah.
I can't. Okay, it registered so low in my interest that I just don't care. Lies of P, Kris. Lies of P. That was that Soulsborne game.
Oh yeah.
Kind of. I like the look
does
of
look
it.
interesting. Yes.
I like the setting. I again probably won't buy it, but it does look like it's going to be out on Game Pass, so I'll probably play it.
I probably will buy it. I do buy the Souls games. All Souls type of game.
Witcher 3 season. No, Witcher
That's
season
real.
3. Yes.
It's
Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. I like the look of it.
Does
I
look
enjoyed the
interesting.
first game. I like the idea of being able to play it with my friends.
Yeah.
Also, I just love, like, I think the Warhammer has a really cool world. So,
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I enjoyed the first Space Marine game. Very fun. I only played it a couple years ago. Like, I bought it on Steam for fucking cheap.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fun. They never did anything else like it. And then, bam, thank you, sir. This year, we're doing it again. This time, it's not orcs, it's Tyranids. And you can go with your mates. And I was just like, yep, I'm in.
Yep.
You've got me. Especially considering, again, I think, from what I've heard, Dark Tide wasn't that good. And that was a game I was really looking forward to. What about this one, Kris? I do remember this one. Nicolas Cage in Dead by Daylight. What was the question I asked you the second we saw it?
You asked whether he was going to be the killer or the survivor.
What do you think? I personally think he should be a killer. But I think
that'd be fun. I think it'd be fun.
I think that would make
It'd be
sense.
fun.
And like his special move could just be him going crazy. And
He
ranting.
does that. He does that. Having said that, the game did drop off my radar.
I haven't played
A
Dead by
long time
Daylight.
ago.
I haven't played Dead by Daylight in so long. However, that being said, yeah, I'd be willing to play it for the channel.
That's fair.
Me and Kris will jump in and we'll survive together, or I will hunt him and other people, if that is what you want to see. Yes, Your Grace sequel announced. I told you it was a sequel. Again, didn't really care about this.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, okay. Witchfire?
Not sure on that.
Yeah, I was kind of Remnant 2, Kris. Remnant 2. What was it that you said about it?
I can't remember.
I distinctly remember you saying like it kind of looks like a cross between Destiny and another game. The game you were thinking of was Remnant. I can't remember the name of the game.
You're telling
but
me
it's
to
like,
guess it.
can you guess what this game is? And you're like, it kind of looks like a mix between Destiny and this other game. What's it called again? And then it like popped up, and you're like,
That's the one I was thinking
that's
of.
the one I was thinking. Yeah. Yeah.
Under the Waves was wrong with
Under the Waves,
Yes.
which is very similar to the one from Xbox.
Yes.
Immortals of Avium. So that was that like first person shooter magic one.
I'm gonna wait to see on that one.
Yeah, as I said to you, it kind of felt like they were making a VR game, and then they just kind of went, it would be better as a non-VR game, but then they left it kind of VR-ish. I'm not too keen on it. Black Desert expansion, don't care about that. Honkai Star Rail.
Can't even remember that one.
Yeah, that was that anime-looking game.
Oh,
The
the
one where
Genshin
you-
Impact style one.
Yeah, the one where like, I don't know what this game is about. I'm like, all I can tell you is it has jiggle physics.
Yes.
Yes. I can't remember that
I
one.
can't either.
I do remember that one.
Yes.
Throne and Liberty. That sounds familiar, but that was that mobile game that we were talking about. And I was like,
That's right. Yeah.
it looks like this in the thing, but I can guarantee you it doesn't look like that.
Oh, hell no.
Party Animals. Yeah, I don't really care about it. It just kind of looked like game beats to me.
Yeah.
Xbox and Porsche Xboxes that we can't get. That was good.
Yes.
And that seems to be about all of it.
There's a few that we're looking at. That'd be fun.
So honestly, the highlights for me from that one was Beneath the Waves,
Yes, definitely.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth,
Yes.
and probably Nicolas Cage.
So one of the main ones that you're gonna be definitely the Under the Waves. I'd look at the the Lies of P.
Liza P. Yep.
Lies of P. That's another one. They're gonna be the main ones. Everything else I think looks interesting, but I'm waiting.
Yeah. Look, I get that on a lot of it. Like as I said, Mortal Kombat 1.
Look, I'm gonna end up playing it anyway.
Yeah.
Because Nick will get it, and I will go around there and have play.
Look, it's a safe bet. It's a safe bet. You know what it's going to be like. You know it's going to be quality. Of course. I don't think a Mortal Kombat's come out over the last 5 years that's been crappy.
No.
I'm pretty confident in saying that because I think the only one that's come out in the last 5 years was 11.
Yes, it would be.
So Mortal Kombat and Final Fantasy VII are safe bets. They're going to more than likely be very good games.
Yes. Oh shit, yeah. Final Fantasy VII. Obviously going to get it.
As I said, Under the Waves, I really like the look of that because it kind of seems like a mystery kind of thing going on. I liked it. Lies of P, I really like the art style. I probably won't like the gameplay as much as I like the art style, but the art style could be enough to pull me in. What was the other one you said? Oh, you just said those two. What ones that I said? Oh, Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, I just love. I personally, as I said, I really hope he's a killer. That would be hilarious. Yeah. So yeah, there's a few things on there. The Yakuza game, of course, I like that, but I like the Yakuza games. They're just not really like. I don't sit there and go like, yay! Power World, I really like the look of that. It could be a lot of fun. But yeah, honestly, of that, I reckon the top tier items are probably Mortal Kombat 1 and Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
I think those are the safe bets.
Yes.
But I reckon there was some interesting stuff going on there that I was more keen to see more of.
Yeah.
Before I truly make up my mind whether or not it's worth my money. But yeah, I really hope Under the Waves is as good as it looks.
Yes, I hope so too.
So now let's switch over, Chris,
to the
Xbox Showcase game list. I'm gonna pull up the game list because even though we literally just watched it, we are useless.
Look, we remembered the pointless stuff. At least I
maths.
Yes.
Well, let's start off with what it started off with, which was the Fable cinematic trailer.
I did enjoy that trailer.
I loved the trailer. I thought it was really funny. I also love the fact that they got fucking what's his name?
Richard Ayoade?
Yep,
something like that.
Richard Ayoade, or something like that. Oh, I just remember him as Moss from the.
Yes, I remember him too.
And I absolutely love him. He is one of my favorite. Like, just if you want someone who like just comes across as socially awkward, he is brilliant at it.
Oh yeah.
And
so he did well in Watchmen as the alien.
Yep. But his whole thing, and then like him being the giant, I love that. That was hilarious. And just how annoyed he is with heroes, and like I was just like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're wafters. They waft. After that was South of Midnight. What did you think of that?
I'm unsure of what we're getting into. So it looks good.
We've had a chat about this one.
Yeah.
I really like what I'm seeing.
Oh yeah.
It's just I don't think I'm seeing a lot. I love the kind of southern voodoo spooky bayou vibe that I'm getting. But I just don't know. I love the fact that there's like that kind of like she's kind of drifting between or I can only assume she drifts between the real world and like this ghost world where like the monsters and stuff are. But we didn't see a great deal.
Yeah.
But I fret to say optimistic about it, but definitely one I want to see more about because I think that could be really good.
I think that's where we're going to probably have to leave it, to be honest, just to wait and see.
Yeah, that one is definitely
wait for the next thing that comes out.
What I will say about it though is I did like the music.
Oh, so did I. Yeah, it was good.
Just a little bit of old style blues. That one's definitely a wait and watch because, but a little bit optimistic. A little bit optimistic that could be a good game.
Yes, yeah, I reckon so.
After that, we saw Star Wars Outlaws. Now, I'm going to come out and say I haven't, even though of the two of us, I am the biggest Star Wars fan, I really haven't been paying much attention to Star Wars of recently, so I didn't even know it was coming out. Yeah. I didn't even know Ubisoft were working on a game for Star Wars. As me and Kris we did talk about this one. I think that it needs something special.
Yeah.
I don't just want another game in the Star Wars world where you join the rebellion.
Or it just pretty much has a Star Wars skin, and that's it.
Yeah, I was kind of saying to Kris, ideally I'd want a Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of feel with a Star Wars skin. But mainly, and I think this is a really important thing for it, from what we saw from the trailer, it kind of looks like you're flying through like this rebel imperial space battle, just trying to get out of the area. I'm happy with that. I don't want another game to go down the path of you join the rebels. I would really like this one to stay true to its name and you to stay in that outlaw grey kind of moral ambiguous area. And I think it could be really good if you get to like work for both sides so that you are actually in that moral grey zone. But from the looks of it, it does appear to be a heist game. So I don't know. But I will say this, if it is one of those games like most of the Star Wars games we've gotten so far, Jedi Survivor and Outcast. Why did I say Outcast? Outcast is an old one.
It is.
Survivor and Fallen Order aside, where you really don't join anyone's team. I don't want to see another one where it's like, okay, here's the twist. Halfway, you join the rebels. You're a good guy. I want to see this one actually play out as, no, you're an outlaw. You don't give a fuck about the big picture. You just want to survive.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that one goes. Again, maybe something to keep an eye on.
Yep.
33 Immortals, Kris. 33 Immortals.
I don't know. I don't tend to play a lot of that style of game.
No, neither do I. So... I'm probably not going to play it. As I said, the thing about it to me is that if it is on Game Pass, which I'm fairly sure it popped up and said, like, that was the biggest takeaway from the Xbox thing for me. Day one Game Pass.
So many of them.
Yeah. If it is on Game Pass, I can imagine downloading it, because I think it could be cool to just kind of drop in with a bunch of randoms, do a dungeon, and then just be like, yeah, cool, I had my little fix. But yeah, pretty much the only real selling point for it. Like, the graphics is pretty standard for that type of game.
Yeah.
The only real selling point is that 33-player co-op drop-in.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that could be cool. Like, just, dropping in and being part of like a massive community, kind of like the old school days of WoW, except without the commitment that being in a guild required.
Oh yeah, that was something.
Payday 3. It's Payday 3.
Yeah.
I like Payday. I'll play it.
Yeah.
It'll look better. After that was Persona 3 Reloaded. As someone who just recently bought the ports of Persona 3 and 4 for the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Feel a little bit ripped off.
Yeah.
No, I look, honestly, I love Persona games. Persona 5 is my jam. I like that one the best because it's just dripping with style. A lot of people say Persona 4 is the best. I've yet to play it, but a remake of...
Wait, you haven't played 4?
No. And I started on 5. And I never went back.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You started with a later number.
Yes. Yes, I did. Don't get me started on the Persona games, Chris. They are too confusing to even bother.
No, I'm aware
The
that
numbers are irrelevant.
I'm aware that they're confusing.
But
It's
yeah.
just the shocking side of you started with 5. I mean, very similar to with me in Final Fantasy. I started at 15.
Yeah, to be fair, I started at 5 because when 5 came out, it was almost impossible to get any number before it. Unless you had a PlayStation 3, 2 and 1 in working order. Oh, actually, it might just be down to 2. Unless you had a PlayStation 3 and 2, you could not play the old games.
The 2 was backwards compatible.
I just don't think it was on the 1, but you definitely couldn't play those backwards games on your PlayStation 4.
4-3.
That's a jab at PlayStation. Because I'm not him. Yeah, so Persona 3 Reloaded, honestly, it's Persona. It'll be it's just a remake. It's an upgrade of the game.
Yeah.
Honestly, having not played it, I can only really think that they'll bring it in more to like look like Persona 5, and because it's stylized, you don't. It's not one of those things that you're like, oh my god, I can see the difference. It's not photorealistic.
No.
And like when you're talking to people, it's one of those games where like a cartoon drawing of them pops up. So I can't imagine that's going to change much. So, but you know, like if you're into Persona, the games, and you have been going, I want to go back and play them, I think that's a great opportunity for you.
Yeah.
Avowed, Chris. Avowed, the game from Obsidian.
Shit, I can't remember anything about that one.
That was the one where the blue lizard man was talking to you, and you had the guns and you were in the hood. Kind of looked like Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't
know on that one.
I think it'll be good. Obsidian, as you know, most of us are aware, Fallout, New Vegas, the Outer Worlds.
Yeah. Look, I think I may not have noticed much on that because we were more focused on what other games they did.
Yeah,
because I wasn't sure.
But you know, it looks like a fantasy world with a little bit of like steampunky stuff. At one point, I saw guns and magic.
Oh wait, yeah, no, I remember it now.
Look, it looks like it'll be.
Did I not say Destiny and Cyberpunk kind of vibe or something like that?
No, that was
a different one.
Different one. But yeah, this was the one that was. Yeah, honestly, I think it'll be a fine game. Obsidian are pretty nailed in their open world RPGs.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's much to say on that because I just think it'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll have its charms. It'll have it'll have people comparing it to other games. Probably Skyrim, if I have to be honest.
Unlikely.
But I think it'll come out favourably. Next was Sea of Thieves. That's getting an update for The Legend of Monkey Island. I don't play Sea of Thieves because when it first came out and I would have actually considered it, it was kind of rubbish. But look, they've done a lot of stuff recently that I hear is good value, so maybe one day I'll check out Sea of Thieves, and having this Monkey Island stuff, because I actually like Monkey Island, is just another reason to give it a look. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
Haven't played the first one.
Haven't played the first one either. That'll be an interesting one. There was something about Fallout 76, but honestly, I paid no attention to that because I have no interest in Fallout 76.
Yeah.
I know people will be like, "Oh no, it's gotten better," but the truth is, I never liked the idea to begin with, so I wasn't really fussed about it. Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. So it was the second Like a Dragon game that I learned about this week. As I said, I'll definitely probably end up playing it. I really like that series. Ichiban's back. That was the dude on the beach.
What's the dude on the beach?
He is the main protagonist from number 7.
Yes.
It looks like he's at Hawaii.
Yes.
Because there was a lot of people talking English.
But yes, I may get into those. They look like they can be quite funny.
There was the expansion for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Then there was Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Wow.
Coming out in 2024.
Exactly. That game is one to watch out for. If you ever said, "Hey, I want to work in aviation, but don't actually want to do any of the work required to do this for real," yeah, that's about all they really pointed out. Hey, you want to do these jobs, such jobs as being incompetent at delivering cargo. Watch the trailer for that one. The oil rig. See if you noticed the problem there. Do you want to be a crop duster?
Was that an oil rig or was it a...
It was an oil rig. They were moving something from an oil rig to a ship.
Oh, yeah. It was the ship part that you noticed it.
Oh, yeah. But you'll know that you're in the right spot when you're at the oil rig. But yeah, it's flight sim.
Yeah.
Whether you're into it or not, it is more of the same.
Yes.
Or different. Because this time, you get to have jobs. Path of the Goddess, that was shown. That was that weird one with all the weird hands. And the Power Rangers. Right. I honestly don't know much about it, but from what it looked like, it was weird.
Oh yeah, no, it looks weird. But I think wait for another trailer to come out and it might sell me a bit more.
Then there was Forza. Forza racing game was announced. Honestly, I like racing games, but when it comes to Forza, I'm more about the Horizon side.
Yeah.
I like the stupidity of that. It's just good fun.
Yeah.
Overwatch 2. There was an announcement about that. It's getting a story.
Yeah.
It was alluded to earlier. Eh?
Yes.
Interesting to see how that's going to work.
Yes. I still think it'll be a co-op based thing.
So probably poorly is your opinion.
Well, look, with the type of game it is, I don't think
my
they're going to
problem
make it.
My problem with co-op shit is always this, right? Once the novelty wears off.
Well, technically, they've already put in small little stories.
We're talking about like the Halloween thing.
Yeah, they're events, but they have a small amount of story to them.
Okay, I'll grant you that. So they have tested it, but as I said, once the novelty wears off on something like that,
yeah,
good luck playing the story, because you'll be like waiting for a match, waiting for a match, waiting for a match, and 3 weeks later you'll still be waiting for a match to find the other 3 people who are playing it, and then they'll say, "Oh no, it's a 5-player thing. There's only 4 of you." So yeah, that's my problem there.
Yeah.
Persona 5 Tactics. It's Persona 5. I'll definitely end up buying it.
Yeah.
The climbing-based puzzle game Jusant.
Maybe.
Honestly, I wonder about the selling point of that game. Honestly, yeah. I get it's a puzzle game, but like watching what they showed, I was like,
"Is it rock climbing simulator?"
It's kind of like there's games that when I played as a kid, Spyro for instance, the puzzling in it and the platforming seemed difficult, and when I played the Reignited trilogy, which I loved, don't get me wrong, less so.
Oh yeah,
and I feel that it's in that. Well, if you're a kid playing it, it could be difficult, but if you're an adult, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I see what I've got to do." So
yeah,
I don't really know how it'll go, but from just my preview of it, it seems like a puzzle-based game that's not that puzzling. Happy to be proven wrong if they do, but yeah. Still Wakes the Deep, Kris. That was that other game on the oil rig.
Looks interesting.
Yeah, it looks really, really.
It's almost like you gotta keep the rig going, but also it seems like a slight horror.
Got to avoid that Balrog.
Yeah.
Moria joke for you. No, I liked it. It seemed thematically. I was getting. Let's just say the music in that one did a really number of kind of building that tension.
Oh,
I don't think we ever actually saw anything. The closest we came to seeing what was actually going on was when he closed the door, and all you could really tell was like something moved in the background. So, what will it be? I don't know. I'm feeling kind of classic survival horror, kind of like Outlast, kind of like Alien Isolation, that kind of stuff. So
I was thinking along the lines of Outlast myself, but yeah,
could be very good. Put that one on the keep an eye on
watch
platform. Dungeons of Hinterberg. That was that one where she had a sword, and we made connections to Dora the Explorer.
Oh yeah,
Dora the Explorer.
That's right.
Up. Swiper, no swiping. Indeed, she now packs heat.
Yes.
No, look, honestly, I don't really have any ups or downs for that one. It could be interesting. Again, I think that was one of those Game Pass ones.
Yeah.
I think it'll absolutely kill off Game Pass because people download it to give it a go, and if it's any good, they'll keep playing it.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm just kind of like, it's a Game Pass game.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Didn't see much about that because I skipped it. Kris didn't get to see it. I watched it. It looks like more Cyberpunk. Whether you like that or not, that's up to you. I personally don't mind Cyberpunk, so I'm going to say for a chance to jump back into that world and get some more Keanu Reeves, Johnny Silverhand, yeah, why not?
Yeah, may as well.
I'll take it. City Skylines 2. If you're into city building, go for it. It's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
If you're not into city building,
don't buy it.
Maybe skip it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. City Skylines 1 is super popular, so this should be an absolute slam dunk because it should look better.
Yeah.
What about Metaphor?
I actually don't know on that one.
Yeah, it did look. Look, honestly, I'll probably end up buying it. It looked just like Persona to me.
Yeah.
And I love those games. So, yeah. Metaphor is just Persona with a different name.
Yeah. It comes from the same studio.
Yep. Towerborn. That was the Destiny one. Destiny Castle Crashers one you were talking about.
Yeah. That's right, Castle Crashers. Yeah, maybe.
Honestly, it kind of depends, doesn't it? It could be a really fun, just quick jump in co-op kind of game like Castle Crashers is.
That'd be about it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a great deal there. Like, I don't think that's one that's going to hit you with its staying power.
No.
What about Clockwork Revolution?
Got some Bioshock vibes from that one, but it looks alright.
I got some Bioshock. I got some Dishonored.
Yeah.
I was watching it and I'm going, ooh, could be good. As I said, what would really make me disappointed in that one is if that cool kind of changing between the dystopian and the not so dystopian setting is entirely story based. I was like, oh no, you have to be in this one now, you have to be in this one. I really kind of hope it has those Dishonored vibes where it's kind of like your actions change it. Like that, I really hope it's that. If it's that, I reckon it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
But again, at the moment, with what we've seen, it's a wait and watch.
Yeah.
Wait and watch it. If it's any good, it'll be good. But again, I think the thing with all of these Xbox games is that Game Pass kind of takes away the issue with the summer games, first ones. That price point of $109. Because they're on Game Pass, you can get in and you can try them for free pretty much.
Yeah.
It's $17 a month if you're me, you're already paying for, and you can try out these games, and because most of these are owned by, like a large majority of these are owned by Microsoft, they'll probably just be on there forever.
Probably, yeah.
But if they're not, well, then you can buy them if you're really, really attached to them, and Game Pass gives you a discount on any games you buy that are on Game Pass. So
yeah,
I feel like that's a win-win.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Starfield, Kris. that's one that we didn't talk about that was shown off.
Wait, didn't we skip through that?
We did, but only because I watched all of it. I watched the hour-long part at the end. So, Fallout in Space pretty much does it. But what makes me the happiest about it is that it seems like they're taking the in-space part seriously. With ship customization, space battles, scavenging. You can steal other people's ships and add them to your fleet.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, just your RPG stuff. So, like, they showed off a bunch of stuff that looks really good. So, I've been a bit negative towards Starfield over the past. Xbox has been a bit negative. Phil Spencer came out and said, like, Starfield isn't going to sell Xboxes.
Yeah.
It looks pretty damn good, though.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. As I said to Kris earlier, it will be buggy. Bethesda game is buggy. It has bugs, but there's some really cool stuff that you can do in it. You can pretty much choose if you want to be a passively speaky person, or you want to be a kind of person who flies through the air dropping mines on people's heads.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So something for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was a bit negative about Starfield, but after watching the hour-long Starfield Direct that I didn't make Kris watch because it is an hour long, and unlike with the Xbox Showcase, we can just jump through and skip all the talking parts because it is the talking parts.
Yes.
No, it does look good.
Okay.
It has some really good looking stuff going on, and so.
Yeah.
It's one to watch. I really think Starfield is one to watch. But again, with all of these, and especially with Starfield, I guarantee it will be buggy.
Yeah.
It'll be buggy as anything because it's Bethesda. And like I said to you, an unbuggy Bethesda game would be like a vegan McDonald's. Just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But no, I after seeing the Starfield Direct, like if you were at all even a little bit interested, I would suggest watching that hour-long thing, understanding that it's, as I said, about an hour in length.
Yeah.
But they go into a lot of detail about what they're hoping to put out. So if it comes out anywhere near what they've said, fingers crossed we don't have another Hello Games on our hands. It'll be good. It'll be real good.
Yeah.
And just because, I've been kind of like saying how good this Xbox One was. The ridiculous side of the Xbox One, the carbon black Xbox Series S, Kris. What did you think of that?
I had no intention of getting a Series S in the first place.
No, neither do I.
Yeah.
But it's nice that Xbox did consider that making it black so that, as I said earlier, people don't walk in and see the white one and go, "You ungamey cheap motherfucker."
Pretty much.
Now it's black so that when you see it, they, unless they actually know
The size difference.
Yep. They'll just see a black Xbox and be like, "Oh, you have an Xbox." They won't be like, "Oh, you're cheap." So, Xbox really doing everyone a favor there.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't be bothered. At this point, I feel like people are buying Series S's just because they can't get the Series X.
Probably.
So,
but I
because
believe they said it in there.
They are increasing the thing. So
They are
hopefully
increasing
everyone
the
will
same.
get their Series X soon. It's just that they're going to probably be more expensive.
Yes.
I looked at the one with Diablo 4.
Yeah.
And it was like $850. I was like, I don't really want to pay $100 for Diablo 4. I'm fairly sure it's on Game Pass. Yeah. So, what do you reckon your highlights were from the Xbox One, Kris?
So from the Xbox One, definitely looking at, I've forgotten all of the names again.
just describe the game.
The midnight one.
Yep, South of Midnight.
That does look interesting.
Definitely one to keep your eyes on. I reckon that is honestly probably the one that I'd say that's the one I'm most excited about. Only because I know so little about it right now, but it just looks good.
Yeah.
And I love the vibe. The vibe is brilliant.
Yes.
But
Fable.
Yeah, that's another one. As I said,
that.
my problem with those two is that they were cinematic trailers, so they didn't really give us like the Fable one. It's Fable. I kind of know what to expect, and the trailer just made me go, "Yes, I could buy Fable again."
Yeah.
South of Midnight, as I said, the trailer was really good, and I really liked the vibe, and I liked the music, and I really liked what I was seeing. I'm not sure what I was seeing, but it was definitely my standout of the whole thing.
Yeah. I think they were just the main two for me. Everything else was a maybe.
Yeah. My other one, my other big one that I was like, ooh, I really like the look of that was Still Wakes the Deep.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the other one that I was like, I like this. Mind you, I don't play horror games that much. I think I'm halfway through Alien Isolation because I come and play like 10 minutes of it and then I'm like, I don't want to have a heart attack. But yeah, so...
Wait, you would have a heart attack?
Oh fuck, with that aliens chasing you around, man, it's scary.
With the two of us that legitimately just sit there not getting jump scared?
It's not jump scares, man. That thing is hunting you.
I mean, fair.
It's a jump scares are fine, okay?
I suppose
jump scares happen. But when you literally know something has two brains and is tracking you, and one of those brains knows your exact location, and if you keep doing the same shit over and over again, it's just gonna be like, he's in the cupboard, kill him. Alien Isolation is, it's not a jump scare. It's not one of the things where it's like, bang, your heartbeat goes up for a second and then drops back down. It's like you're at an extended state of increased heart rate.
I suppose, like, last time I played Dead by Daylight, it was with... it would have been around when Michael Myers was at it.
Oh, okay.
And I legitimately was at a point where, for some reason, this dude was just hunting me and me alone the entire game.
Yeah.
And he could never manage to actually get me. But because they actually added in the music...
Yeah.
It was one of those things of like, oh no, I'm being chased again.
Yep.
I literally ran past everyone on generators.
And he was just on you.
Yeah. No. Because they figured out it's like, oh, well, we don't need to really move because he hasn't chased anyone else.
To bring us back to Xboxes for a second, Star Wars Outlaws.
Yep.
That's one I'm going to keep my eyes on. Just to, I don't know. I want to see where it goes. I want to see if it's any good.
I think that'll be
I think the last time I played Dead by Daylight was with Nick, and when we all played it together.
Would have been, yeah.
And the only thing I remember from that is just getting so upset with Nick because he just kept chasing me, and then like he'd knock me down and then let someone revive me, then knock me down and let someone revive me.
Yep.
And so at the end, I just kind of sat there, little crouched there, staring at him, like, I'm not playing your game anymore. He's like, run away. And I'm like, no. He's like, run away. I'm like, no. You're just going to catch me. He's like, run away. I'm like, no, I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. And then he just walked away because I was having a tantrum.
You were having a tantrum. But that gave us a lot of time to be able to do the generators.
Yeah, it did. But I was having a tantrum. I don't want to play with you anymore. I'm just going to sit here. Come and kill me. It's not fun for me unless I hunt you. Well, then I don't want it to be fun for you. No, I honestly, I know we talked about this before talking about Xbox, but Nick Cage, man, that could be the thing that gets me back into Dead by Daylight, and I do like that game. It is a lot of fun.
It's a good game.
I just really hope they do him justice and make him a killer.
Yeah.
And I hope he just spouts lines at you as he's dragging you towards all.
Just lines from movies.
Yeah, just his classic Nick, just screaming about the bees. Not the they're in my eyes! As he drags you to a hook.
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I really feel like that. I feel like making Nick Cage a survivor just would not do justice to him.
No.
He's got to be a killer. And he's,
Yeah.
His weapon should just be
Or if he was a
karate.
survivor, it's like while he's on the hook. He could be screaming everything out.
Well, it's just one of those funny things where it's like, you reckon they told him, you reckon they said to him, okay, Nick, we need some lines for the hook, and they just went, just Nick, we're just going to film you all day. You just give us what you got. Get in the booth, give us what you got.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh man, that'd be funny.
Yeah, but no, that's great. That's great. I love it. I absolutely, when I saw that, I just really hope he's the killer. I think that would be the best thing in the world. Yeah. Well, we've been going for a while now, like quite a while.
Yeah, almost 2 hours.
Yeah. So, thank you for joining us, guys. I've been Darcy. He's been Kris. Tell us what you thought about if you've watched any of what we've said. If you're excited for any of the games we mentioned, let us know. If you want to see us play some Dead by Daylight, let us know. We'll do that. If you want to see Kris play Alien Isolation, let us know. He doesn't do jump scares, but he loves that.
Actually, there's one game that's giving me a jump scare. Dead Space.
Right.
Do you want to know what was the jump scares?
No.
The fucking steam pipes.
Alien Isolation has those too.
It's the only jump scares that ever got me in a game. It's fucking irritating.
Yeah, so, hey guys, if you've got any suggestions for us to play games you want to see us play, let us know in the comments. If you've got anything you're looking forward to from the announcements, let us know. If there's games that you think we overlooked and we shouldn't have, let us know. But, you know, that's been the week. That's what's been announced. I'm looking forward to some of it. You know, I think this is the first time in a long time, probably at least 3 years, that I've actually been looking forward to games. So,
yeah,
interesting times.
Should be good.
As always, if you like, share, comment, subscribe, show a friend, shove it in their face, just rub your screen up against their face. Go crazy. Yeah, do it. And until next time, I've been Darcy, and thank you for joining us. And he's been Kris.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next time.
So,
see you later. Okay. Anyhow, where was I? Getting started. That's correct. 3 minutes. Perfect. That's what I wrote. Hello, everybody. It's me, Darcy, and him.
yes.
Kris. Oh, I also bought a GoPro.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I did that the other day. I just spent $700. I was just like, bam, done. GoPro bought. What did you spend $700 on? A spring? No, a coil of wire.
A coil. No, it's actually like it's like a metal piece that's about this wide.
Alright.
And the part was a coil in there. That was the part that actually breaks.
Anyway,
they replaced the whole thing.
Fucking Kris.
Oh.
Fucking Kris. Nice.
Fucking hell.
What does he want?
I have no idea.